Hi everyone. Welcome to Discover What Your State Library Can Do for You. My name is Debbie Hibbard and I'm the Patron Services Supervisor here, and I'll be your presenter today. The first thing we're going to do today is go over some general information about our agency, and then we're going to talk about where the state library fits within KDLA and the services that we provide specifically to state employees. We do have some other patron groups. And then if you have any questions, I'm hoping that we'll also have some at the end of the presentation for you to ask those. However, again, do feel free to chat throughout and ask questions. And I will do my best to answer. And if I don't have an answer, I will get back with you. Okay. So we are the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. We're located at 300 Coffee Tree Road. That's not far from the East-West Connector in Frankfort, and we are next to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And I'm going to start with some brief background information just to kind of give you an idea of where we fit in state government as a whole. We are housed within the Education and Labor Cabinet. KDLA's current mission is to support and promote access to library services and to ensure that documentation of government activities is created, preserved, and made available for public use. And KDLA has evolved many times over the years. We serve a wide variety of customers. For example, not only do we provide service to state employees, we do also help public library staff by supplementing their collections with materials like large print books, audiobooks, and book kits for book clubs, as well as programming kits for children's librarians. And anyone living within Kentucky can get a library account number. However, the services that we offer to Kentuckians is somewhat limited. We can answer reference questions. People can come here on site and check out books and other materials, CD audio books, and so on. They can use our computers on site, but unfortunately, some of our remote services like the research databases or Kentucky Libraries Unbound or Interlibrary Loan, we ask them to go to their public libraries in their counties for those services. Okay, and as for how we are organized, we have two divisions, Library Services and then Archives and Records Management. And on the library side, we have three branches. That includes the Talking Book Library. KTBL provides free library service to people who can't read traditional print because they have a visual, physical, or reading disability. And they have audio and braille materials that they send to and from users, postage free. And they also have material that can be downloaded from the internet. They also provide special talking book players that they loan out to their patrons. So if you know anyone who does have some difficulties with reading because of a physical reading disability or a visual issue, definitely share that information about KTBL because it's a really valuable resource. And a lot of their patrons just love their services. So. We also have the Library Development Branch, and they help public libraries across the state with grant money, continuing education for library staff, technology assistance, and consultation services. And then there's us, the state library, and we serve state employees and public library staff across the state. On the archive side, we have four branches. Archival services, so if you were interested in any genealogy or you needed to come see an early court case, they have those materials, governor's papers, anything that is a government-created record they have. Then we have the State Records Center. They have the newer court cases, and Archival Services, I should say, also holds agency records. So if you needed to get old records from your agency, you could contact them. Newer records, like I said, court cases and so on are held at the State Records Center. And then we have local records and electronic records management. Local records assists people like county clerk's offices, public libraries, any kind of local government institution with preservation of their records. And then electronic records helps with born digital records, or those that were created on a computer. Okay, and this is our website. To access our services, you can just go to kdla.ky.gov, and you see at the top there we have a menu with all of our different customer groups represented. I want to point out there on the right hand side, the Collection Connection. That is a newsletter that we have for our library patrons to keep them informed of our services, resources, and any new materials that are available through us. We do send those out in March, June, September, and December. We're getting ready to send the fall edition out next month. It'll be coming out towards the end of the month. So if you have a library account number with us, you're likely to get our newsletter and hopefully find it helpful. We include things that we've gotten new in our collection, like new Kentucky history books. We do a lot of stuff that's nonfiction, that's designed to make you a healthier, happier employee, you know, stuff like retirement planning, human resources type topics. I'll go into that here in a little bit. But anyhow, all the new materials that we have are included, or a lot of the new materials that we have are included in the newsletter. Okay, so the State Library. What you're looking at there in that picture I think is kind of interesting. It is an original wood sculpture that sits in our lobby, and it was created by Bobby Reed Falwell, a sculptor and craftsman from Murray, Kentucky. It's 20 foot long, 12 foot high, and it's an abstract representation of the state, and it incorporates 28 native Kentucky woods. And a really most interesting part about it is that one of the boards is from one of the original buildings at Fort Boonesboro. So, when they were creating the sculpture, when they were working with that particular piece of wood, they did find it full of buckshot. So it's kind of interesting. But it's a beautiful sculpture. If you come by and visit us, take a look. Okay, library services for state employees. I'm just going to outline our services here, and then I'll go into each one in more depth in a minute. So first of all, we do have a physical collection of books, CD audio books, and DVDs. We have a downloadable collection of ebooks, e-audiobooks, and magazines. That's through Kentucky Libraries Unbound. We have electronic research databases. We do have reference and research assistance available. Interlibrary loan, and Ask a Librarian feature on our website, and we have some training materials, mostly our old archived webinars. Okay, our physical collection. So we have a lot of books, being a library, and we do have a Kentucky collection. The Kentucky collection has both fiction and nonfiction books. These are books that are primarily, they cover a wide range of topics about Kentucky. They can be the geography, history, they can be biographies and autobiographies. We have books that are set in Kentucky, or books that are written by famous authors from Kentucky. Those are fiction books. And they are just a really impressive collection. Some of the books go back to the 1800s, so some of them are fairly old. We also have a substantial collection of large print books. Kind of skipping ahead here. Some other things that I wanted to point out, the health and wellness topics, we do have a variety of books on health and wellness subjects. We add these also whenever we purchase them in print. We try to add, if possible, and if we think it will have wide interest, titles in Kentucky Libraries Unbound too, so that you have your choice of format either digital or print. And some of these subjects, personal finances, parenting issues, health issues, things of that nature. Naturally, we also have things on workplace topics, computer skills and software applications, various customer service issues, dealing with your coworkers, communication skills and management skill topics, and things of that nature. And now to the CD audiobooks and large print books. We do have these, both fiction and nonfiction. These are part of our circulating collections to public libraries. We send these out to them. They keep them for about 4 months, and then they send them back. And this helps public libraries to expand their budgets a little bit. They are rather pricey items, large print and CD audiobooks. So that allows them to continue offering a wide variety of things to their patrons and be able to manage their budget and not have to buy some of those pricier items. Those are both fiction and nonfiction. They're the latest titles a lot of the time. A lot of people don't use CD audiobooks as much anymore, but there are still patrons in public libraries that like those, so we still send those out. We have a small collection of DVDs, and they are on supervisory skills, communication, diversity and safety, a lot of workplace topics. We don't have popular movies, you know, or anything of that nature. It's all kind of work related. And then down there where I have public library resources, these can be requested, like if you were interested in a book discussion kit, because we do have regular and large print book discussion kits for both adults and youth. We send these out to public libraries for their book clubs, but we also offer them to members of the community. So we have schools that request them through their public libraries. We have community groups that request them, homeschool parents. So if you have an interest in one of our book discussion kits, or maybe you have a book club at your office, you know, we can check those out to you. Those are available to you. We also have programming kits for both adults and youth. The programming kits generally have different activities. They have manipulatives, they have games, they have ideas for different programs. These are supposed to be a program in a box. So if you think of events that you have at your public library, they might be using one of our kits to kind of put together a program and get ideas for their program and so forth. A lot of them, like some of the youth ones, are STEAM kits: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so, you know, those are also available to anyone in the community. The only caveat is that you have to request them through your public library. We also have a storytelling collection that you can request directly from us. And the storytelling collection has just a large number of anything to do with folklore, stories from around the world. We have both DVDs, CDs, books about how to put on a storytelling program. Some of these are designed for librarians, but some of them, you know, are just interesting stories from around the world that you could check out for your kids or just for your own interest, whatever. And then we have what we call the LOTE collection. That's the Language Other Than English collection. This is new. It's something that we're sending out to public libraries. And it encompasses the linguistic, religious, cultural, social, economic, and political aspects intrinsic to native-speaking countries and peoples they represent. The collection contains picture books, fiction for children, young adults, and some nonfiction in Spanish, along with wordless picture books. Okay, so our electronic collection and resources, we do have a downloadable collection of ebooks, e-audiobooks, and magazines. Those are available through Kentucky Libraries Unbound. KLU is a group of libraries throughout Kentucky that have pulled their resources to offer digital material to their patrons. And this collection is powered by a company called Overdrive. Most of the KLU collections are similar in nature. From library to library, you will find the same titles in KDLA, generally speaking, that you find in your county public libraries account. However, there are some small differences, the main one being how many copies are available from a particular library. We also subscribe to several research databases, and these databases let you find full-text articles, as well as citations from thousands of newspaper, magazine, professional journal, and encyclopedia articles. Some of these databases we have access to include Newsbank, and we just got an upgrade on Newsbank so that we have access to double the amount of materials that we had before. And that includes a lot of Kentucky newspapers. So it lets you search for newspapers from around Kentucky, from your local area. And it also has a number of newspapers from the U.S., from various metropolitan regions, and also worldwide. They have some worldwide newspapers. We often have webinars specifically on how to best use and search these databases. So be sure to check our training events calendar for any upcoming trainings. We will be having one in September on the 16th at 2 p.m. and that is going to be on our Bio1 database. Okay. So now I'm going to walk you through our website and you can get started accessing these great resources. As I mentioned earlier, our website is kdla.ky.gov, and just note on the menu bar there we have library support, state employees, records management, archives, reference, talking books. When you look on our website, this is an older screenshot, there is also the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So that is actually something for the public libraries. However, what you're going to be interested in as a state employee is the state employees drop-down menu there, and that is going to take you to a page where you can access all of our resources. So you see that menu there on the left-hand side, and it begins with the catalog. Search the catalog. If you click on that, you're going to come to our catalog's home page. We use a catalog called WorldCat Discovery, and you just sign in there at the top of the page on the right-hand side. Oops. And then you're going to be entering your library account number and your password. If you need to change your password, or if you've gotten a new account and you've never set one before, you just click on Request Password. And it will take you to this page where, again, you enter your library account number, click on Request, and there will be instructions mailed to the email address that we have on file for you to let you set a new password. Okay, now once you're signed in, you're going to see your name appear. And if you hover over that box, a drop-down menu appears. And it's here that you're going to access your new account to see what you've got checked out, if you have any holds, any charges. I will say, we do not charge late fees, and we only charge for lost or damaged items. And then if you find it and you return it to us, we will refund the money. So hopefully, that wouldn't happen, but we don't charge any late fees at all. And you can renew your checkouts once you're in your account. And I'm just going to briefly show you a search in the catalog. So we do have an entire webinar on WorldCat Discovery. If you're interested, I'll show you where you can access that later. So I'm going to search the term stress management, and you can see when I begin to type that it shows suggestions underneath, kind of like Google does. Okay, so first be sure to notice the first result has held by Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. Right there. That means that it is something that we have in our library, that we have access to. The reason I'm pointing this out is when you search this particular catalog, you're not just searching items available in our library, but you're also searching libraries worldwide that participate in the Global Library Cooperative known as OCLC. And just on the topic of stress management alone, you see it came up with 545,000 results. We do not have that many items on stress management in our collection. That is the worldwide results. Now, if you just want to see items from our library, you would go over here to the filter and you would check that Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives box. Another thing about this catalog is that it pulls up everything under the sun. So you don't just get records on books, you get records on audiobooks, DVDs, ebooks from the Kentucky Libraries Unbound collection, newspaper articles from our Newsbank collection, articles from our different research databases can be discovered in WorldCat Discovery. So it has everything from our physical and many items from our electronic collections. So that's just something to be aware of. And you can see right here, it will tell you what format that item is. So that is a print book that we have on our shelves that we can send to you. And if you only want print books, there is another filter over here, and it's for format. And you can see here, it tells you that this particular item is available. And if you're interested in this item, you're just going to click on that link, and it's going to take you to the item record where you can request it. So you have the option to share the link if you want to send this to somebody and say, hey, look at this, would you be interested in it? You can share it. It has the option for citations. You can save it to a list. It gives you the description of the item, and then this right here on the right hand side is where you would request it. All you have to do is click on that blue button that says send to my office. And it's going to take you to this submission form. And if you have any special requests, like I have my primary location listed as work, but I mostly work from home, could you send this to my home address? Just write that in there. If you need a specific volume or a particular edition, write that in there and we will do our best to fulfill that request. Now, as far as other items on checking out our physical materials, again, you can come in person, 300 Coffee Tree Road, Frankfort. Now, the research room is available from 9 to 3:30 Monday through Thursday. The State Library is actually, we don't have shelves that you can actually browse. You kind of have to know what you're going to get. A lot of people will come here to pick things up, but you know, there's not really, we're not like a public library where you can really go in and kind of browse shelves and stuff. If you want to pick something up, the general building is open from 9 to 4, Monday to Friday. So you can drop by to get, you know, either return something or to pick something up. No problem. By phone, we are available at that 502 number or outside Frankfort at the 1-800 number. We do answer phones 8 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. And then we have checkout periods for the books and audiobooks are 4 weeks initial, 2 weeks for renewal if it's not on hold. DVDs check out for 7 days. And this is the best thing. I think we very much are a delivery library. We send items to you. where you're at. So if you work in Frankfort, we will send it through the state messenger mail to your office. If you're outside Frankfort, it will come to you by FedEx with free return postage to your office. Or if you mostly work from home and you have that listed as your primary address in your account, we'll send it to your home, whether you're in Frankfort or not, wherever you are in the state. So we try very hard. I mean, we work the same hours that all state employees do pretty much throughout the state, and our patrons, our state employee patrons, are scattered all over the state. So we are very much a delivery library. We send items to you. Okay, does anybody have any questions right now? Okay, so on to our electronic collections. Kentucky Libraries Unbound is something that is very popular. This is our ebook, e-audiobook, and magazine platform that we use. And if you go back to that state employees menu, you're going to see towards the bottom collections, downloading audiobooks and ebooks. So that's right over here. And once you click on that link, you'll be taken to a page on our website, which explains how to access KLU and downloaded items. So there we go. And just one thing that we like to point out, some people use KLU for work-related items or something that they're doing some research on for work. Some people use it just for pleasure, just for reading, you know, the latest James Patterson book or what have you. And so if you don't want to download something to your personal mobile device and you're going to be downloading it to your laptop or your computer, desktop computer, any kind of state-owned equipment, be sure that you are following your agency's IT policies before downloading the material. Different agencies have different policies about it. So we just like to kind of put that out there as a reminder. There is a link on this page to KLU. And this is KLU's homepage. The thing about having one, yes, a lot of people do have a KLU account through their local public library. Many of the counties in Kentucky participate. Now, there are a few, Lexington and Louisville, and I think there might be a county in eastern Kentucky, maybe Kenton, that have their own accounts with Overdrive because they're very large library systems. And so they do not have access to KLU, but most public libraries do have access. The advantage of having a KLU account is you get more checkouts. If you're a very avid reader, you get additional checkouts, additional holds. You can use both of your accounts. And sometimes we don't have as long a waiting periods. And also some of the items that we add to the KLU collection, we do have more workplace topics that we add and things of that nature. But we also have access to all the fiction and other nonfiction that's available in KLU. So it is just slightly different. So this is where you can sign into your account up here. And there is also a very helpful Overdrive page to get you started if you haven't been on KLU before. Now, if you have two accounts, if you're going to sign in with your state library account, you want to go here and sign in KDLA, Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. A lot of people will sign in with their public library account, and if you do have a public library account, and you want to use that account to put your items on hold or to borrow things, then you would go to your county. But some people get confused. They want to use their state library account. They still put in their county. There is an option for KDLA on that menu, and that's what you would choose. And that is going to take you to our authentication page where you enter your account number and password. And then you'll be signed in. And once you're signed in, you can hover over My Account. And to get a drop-down menu, it's going to show you, have an option for your loans, your holds, wish list, history, settings, and so on. On your state library account, you can have, let's see, up to 12 items checked out and 10 on hold. So that's for the state library account. Your public library may have different options for that. And they allow 7, 14, and 21 days for ebooks and audiobooks. And their magazines have no wait times, which I think is fantastic. And you can check out, I don't think there's a limit on how many you can check out. Okay. And then Libby is what most people use to search materials. It is an app, and it is the one that's used for Kentucky Libraries Unbound. You can go to that link I have down there on the slide, and it will tell you all about using Abby, and you can Libby, and if you have an Apple device, you go to the App Store. Other devices, you can go to Google Play and get that app, and it's very simple to use. We do actually have a webinar specifically on Kentucky Libraries Unbound and Libby, and we'll be doing another one of those soon. We usually do one towards the end of the year. So if you have an interest and you haven't used it before or aren't familiar with it, we'll just check back on our archive training sessions page and we'll have that available. Okay, now our electronic research databases. These are web-based access 24/7 to current information from reputable sources. And you also have access to hundreds of full-text newspaper, magazine, professional journal, and encyclopedia articles. And you do get, if there's a particular topic you're researching, you can set it up so that you get email alerts when articles related to that topic of interest are added. So that's a really nice feature. Okay, and how do you access the research databases? Go back to the State Employees drop-down menu and click on Research Databases. And this is our Research Databases page. You see we have several databases that we subscribe to. We do offer webinars throughout the year. Like I mentioned before, Bio 1 is coming up here in September. And that is the first one we have on that page. Bio 1 focuses on scholarly articles and journals in the biological, ecological, and environmental sciences. And we have a lot of folks that work for EEC and Energy and Environment, Fish and Wildlife Agency, various state agencies that do use this particular database for their work. We also have JSTOR. It has 12 million academic journal articles, books, and primary sources in 75 academic disciplines, and almost all their journals are peer-reviewed. And then we have down here Newsbank, and it has almost all the Kentucky newspapers, quite a lot of Kentucky newspapers, as well as newspapers from around the world, including Frankfurt State Journal now, which had not been accessible before. But we got that recently with our upgraded subscription. Now the dates for the Kentucky newspapers generally go back about 10 to 15 years or so, maybe 20. The earliest I've seen is about 1998. Generally before that time you're going to be getting out microfilm probably, unless you have access to it through a different database. And then we have the Kentucky Virtual Library, and they're a consortium of over 350 Kentucky libraries and institutions, including colleges, universities, public libraries, K-12 schools, and hospitals. KYVL purchases and provides to their member libraries a number of research databases, and they also have a courier service which facilitates sharing of resources among Kentucky's public and academic libraries. They also have the Kentucky Digital Library. The state library subscribes to up to 60 of their databases that have multidisciplinary coverage. Those include business, education, medicine, and psychology. And they have the EBSCO databases. So some of those are like Medline, CINAHL, ERIC, Academic Search Complete, Masterfile Premier. There's a number of different research databases that they have that we have access to through KYVL. We also have Data Axle, that used to be known as Reference USA. That's the last one down here. It is a directory of U.S. businesses and individuals, which is enhanced with financial and organizational information. Okay, our next service that we offer is reference and research assistance. So if you have a stumper where you don't have time to hunt for an answer, let us help you. That's what we're here for. We do have a reference librarian. Her name is Hannah Mooney, and I've placed her contact information on the slide there. You can also send a message to the State Library inbox, KDLA Reference Desk at ky.gov, and we will try to get back to you within 24 hours, at least to let you know that we're working on your question. And we do check that reference desk email every day, and Hannah's email is there as well. And we do have many resources here that we can consult when we're working on reference questions. We have state publications. We have access to a variety of newspapers. We have our research databases, of course, access to historical documents. We've got a large Kentucky collection, as I mentioned before, different reference texts, and we have the ability to borrow materials you need for your research from other libraries. And that leads me to the next topic, which is interlibrary loan. And that is another service we offer state employees. So if you don't have an article, book, or audio, or if we don't have an audio book or book or article that you want, we will try to borrow it for you from a library that has it. And the only caveats that you should know about are that it can take up to 2 to 3 weeks. It's not something, if it's a physical item, it can take up to 2 to 3 weeks depending on how far away it's coming from. And articles, though, we get those, they just send it to us through something called Article Exchange most of the time, or they will email it to us, and then we will send it over to you. And I sometimes get those the same day that I request them, usually not more than 2 days out. So we can get articles very quickly. If there's an article that you have found and it's just a citation, you can send that to us and we will request it from another library. Also, we don't determine the due date for items. So if you do borrow a book or anything like that, we do have to get those back by the due date. We cannot sometimes request extensions unless the library has a policy of no renewals. But it is important to get them back so that we can get it back to the lending library that so graciously allowed our patrons to use it and shared with us. Okay. To request an interlibrary loan, there's a few ways you can do that. You can actually do it in our catalog. Like I said, there are items that come up that are not from our library that we don't own. There are also articles that come up that we have a citation to it through one of our databases, but we don't have the full text article. So when you're in the catalog and if you discover something you want and it's not held by us, you just click on the title to get to the item record, and then it will say request through interlibrary loan. There's a blue button over there, and you'll just click on that and it will send it to us. It will show up in our queue and we'll go ahead and request it and then send out an email to you letting you know that we've requested it. There's plenty of space on the form for you to fill out, and like I said, you can, especially for articles, we can get those very quickly. Okay, we also have an Ask a Librarian feature, and this is just kind of a catch-all, ask us a question. So, you know, if you have a reference question, you can send it through this form, as well as, and the KDLA reference desk at ky.gov email actually sends to the same inbox that this form does. So you can, you know, just put as much information as you can about your request. You can also request interlibrary loan this way. So you can, if you don't find, if you have something that you want to request but it's not in the catalog, then just send us the citation through Ask a Librarian and we'll request it for you. And again, we, you know, this goes to our state library inbox, and we do try to do a 24-hour turnaround on the questions. So, and I've mentioned the training events calendar and the different webinars that we have. The one on WorldCat Discovery, one on Kentucky Libraries Unbound, one on our different databases. Actually, we have a number of different ones on our databases. So you can find those, again, by going to that State Employees menu, clicking on Training Events Calendar, and it will show you any trainings that we have upcoming that you can register for. You'll see the date and time. There will be a title and a description of the training, and then a link to register. We also have a whole page on our archived trainings. So for our particular resources, you can click on State Library Resources right here. Go to Archived Webinars under the State Employees menu there. And then it will bring up all the different webinars that we have recorded. This particular webinar will go up and it will replace the older one. This is, you know, some, we always have some new information to share, it seems like, so we're always updating them. So you will see some older ones on that page, but you'll also see some of the latest ones that we're doing. Bio 1 will also go up on that page next month when we give that one. Okay, it looks like we've got about 15 minutes left here. So going back, I want to thank the Institute of Museum and Library Services for sponsorship of this webinar. I'm going to be putting a short survey in the chat here in a second, and please respond, give us feedback, let us know what you might like to see more of. This is important for our continued federal funding. So let me get that link in the chat. And if you have any questions, go ahead and start chatting those in, and I will. There's the link to that survey. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Does anyone have any questions at all? You will be getting a certificate of attendance emailed to you within 10 days. And I will be sending out slides of this webinar. If you're interested, just shoot me an email and I can get the slides of the webinar to you. I want to thank you for attending. I hope you found the information helpful and that you'll find using the State Library helpful for both your work needs and just entertainment. Okay, do the newspaper databases that we access allow us to see historic newspapers? No, we do not have very many of those. We do have historic newspapers on microfilm. Mostly we have, there's a handful of very old ones And the Archives Research Room has a list of those that they could share with you. If you just want to give them a call, that's 502-564-1660, I believe. But anyhow, we do have microfilm of the Lexington Herald Leader, the Louisville Courier-Journal, and the State Journal. State Journal goes back to the early 1900s. I'm not sure about Lexington. I know the Courier-Journal goes back to 1868. But that, as far as on the research databases, we don't, I'm afraid. Are there any other questions? Okay, I will be hanging around here for a little bit. I do have my contact information here. That's KDLA 502-564-8306 or the 1-800 number. Again, there's that KDLA reference desk at ky.gov, the Ask a Librarian form, or there's my information, deborah.hibbert@ky.gov, and my phone number. So feel free to call me if you have any questions or need any assistance at all, and I will be happy to help. Hope you all have a great rest of the day and wonderful weekend. And like I said, I'll hang around here for a little bit if anyone wants to chat in any other questions. Thanks again.